I was reading a verse, Prabhuji. Uh, it is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 23, 18, and 19. So it says, Shantir avyartha kalyatam viraktir manya sunyata asa bandhan samyukantha नाम गणे सदा रुचि आसक्तिस्तद गुणाख्याने प्रीतिस्तद वसति स्थले इति अधो नुभवा स्युर्जत भवंकुर jane. So I mean, it is a beautiful way how the bhakti comes into the heart, and the shantir which is described here is not, it does not mean peace. It is it is at another level. It means that,
Tolerance.
yeah, if somebody, even like, say for example, somebody really harms you, the shanti means if somebody harms you, still you want to help him in bhagavad prapti. So this is another way that it is explained. So I really like this quote.
Thank you. What is Shanti translated as? Tolerance or forgiveness? Forgiveness.
Forgiveness, forgiveness, but it is like, if even if somebody is harming you, we are realized in such a state that we see the Paramatma in his heart, and um, we want to help the soul which is sitting with the Paramatma to achieve the Bhagavad Marg. So that is the real forgiveness.
Any examples from?
Nityanand Prabhu, Jagai Madai, I mean, they were hitting him, and he wants to, then Jesus Christ. Two good examples are there.
Okay. Haridas Thakur.
Haridas Thakur also.
Yes, yes.
Prahlad Maharaj also. He asked for forgiveness.
Yeah, Ambarish Maharaj.
Amrish
Durvasa Muni.
Maharaj. Okay. Anything else? Any other song?
Prabhupada, there are some videos of Kadambakan Maharaj sharing some, last words or wisdom the previous days. I have not seen any, so if you can share some what he had mentioned.
Yeah, there was a small video that he was saying that, let's see. So Kadamba Kanuma had passed away. How we should be faithful in bhakti as time progresses. Let's see this. Play this.
We realize that we need to make a greater.
1 minute, let me share with the sound. That was one, and then others I saw, I can find it.
We realize that we need to make a greater endeavor in our spiritual life. We need more nourishment. We need more depth. The same kind of mechanical chanting that seemed to keep us going for years doesn't work anymore. Yes, that is the nature of bhakti. It demands more and more. Therefore, just chant 16 rounds and follow for regulated principles is not exactly where it stops, right? It requires a whole way of life. It requires a whole cultivation. It requires ample nourishment, inspiration, association, pilgrimages, it requires sacrifice in service, it requires many things, really, to be able to just fulfill, to just faithfully chant every day without fail, to faithfully keep the regulative principles without slips, without fall downs, without a little accidents. Right?
We can see more of his videos later on. So we have to do more in bhakti, like that he's saying. Because time is short. And what should we do? What Prabhupada says in Ayurharati Vaipumsam purport.
We should accelerate our progress
He said time
by
and tide.
increasing the quality and quantity.
Yeah. He said time and tide wait for no man. So with every rising and setting of the sun, a day of life is imperceptibly gone. So we should accelerate our devotional service. That's what Maharaj was saying. Not just, and accelerate means not only the quantity but also the quality. So somehow we have to take shelter more and more in our heart of Krishna, the holy name, and not a lukewarm approach. Because time and tide, time is running. So like that he said. We should not think we have done enough, and we should be careful in our devotional service also. It is like a churasya dhara also. It's like a razor's edge. So we should not play with the illusory energy, because then we'll get cut. So sometimes you may think, okay, I can try this, I can try that. Let's see how it goes. And then before you find out, it's like, you are in a difficult situation. So, and then that situation is irreversible. Sometimes it's very difficult to then get out. So like that, life presents many choices, and we have to carefully evaluate the choices in accordance with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, so that we don't waste our time. And like somebody invites me to a party or something, then there is a choice now whether I should go or not go. So many things are there. Life, so many events happen. So many things are there. So many things are calling us in different ways. So one has to have sharp intelligence, provided by Krishna, of course, and through the Shastra and like that, so that one can fulfill the purpose of human form of life. Like that. Correct? Is that correct to say like that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what he was saying, that there should be not just like chanting mechanically for going on for years like that. We have to put our heart into it, do more sacrifice in the service of the Lord. So, because death is not so easy, right? I mean, of course, Krishna is very kind. Nityananda Prabhu's mercy is there, and we can do what we can. We have our limitations, but we should try. They say to get out of our comfort zone also, so that we can take some risk for serving the Lord. As Prabhupada says, right, in that purport, the Lord wants to see how painstaking the devotee is in his service. What are you going to sacrifice for Krishna? And especially Prabhupada appreciated the desire the sacrifice made to give Krishna consciousness to others. So there's one quote, I put it on WhatsApp. Prabhupada said, let's see. He shows his intense desire to spread Krishna consciousness. So he said, share this. Today is Gaur Purnima. This is 6 March 1966. Today is Gaur Purnima. I am here alone without any devotee companion, but I have come here to serve the Lord and not for personal happiness. I am prepared to live in hell even if I am able to serve the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted that his mission should be propagated all over the world, and that is my objective. I do not mind the inconvenience personally felt. So he wanted to spread Krishna consciousness. That's why he said to his disciples that you should distribute books and things like that. Of course, we have to follow also, as we have to follow, and then, but we have shortcomings, so we try our best. Okay, so that is. He said to somebody that you can step on my head for service. You can even step on my head, like when we saw Garuda Stambha, when Lord Chaitanya was standing, and that lady she climbed on Lord Chaitanya's shoulders to see Jagannath. And Lord Chaitanya allowed it because of her eagerness to see Lord Jagannath. So something like that we have to give, sacrifice what is dear to us for Krishna's service. Our time, pranen arthir dhiya vacha, that says. And our time, of course, time we have to spend in hearing about Krishna, like that, chanting. Avyartha kalatvam, as you are saying, shantir avyartha kalatvam, viraktir mana shunyata, asha bandha samutkantha nama gane sadaruchi. So avyartha kalatvam means time should not be wasted. Avyartha. Vyartha means uselessly, and avyartha means not uselessly wasting time. That is one of the symptoms of spiritual advancement, in whose heart bhav is developing for the Lord. Bhava ankura jane. So ankura means the seed of love of God is sprouting in their heart. They don't like to waste time. Avyartha kalatvam. So time is Krishna. So we should be very careful, Before I do anything, I have to decide whether I'll waste my time in something. If I go there, if I go here, do this activity, that activity, will it be a waste of time or not? So in this way, we can use our time to serve Krishna. Any other comments anybody like to say? Of course, I'm telling myself. So there are certain duties we have to our family, we have to do that. But in Krishna consciousness, and not create too many duties also. Not invent or not, Prabhupada says, sometimes we are bogged down by the burden of self-created duties, and then we are not able to find time to chant the holy name. And why this burden happens? Because of our material desires. With the material desires, we create so many, desires. Now I want to do business, I want to do that. Of course, if you are serving Krishna with your business, it's good. But like that, we then say, oh, I have no time because I have this, I have that to take care of, I have that to take care of, I have no time to chant my rounds. So and by our past karma also, comes, so it's very difficult. That's why Prabhupada says you should live your life simple and find time. To Jayapadaka Maharaj, he said, save time and chant Hare Krishna. So, like that. Do some service to Krishna. Of course, for a devotee, everything is service because he is doing everything for Krishna. So that's there also. It's not like this is material and that is spiritual, but even the job of a devotee is spiritual because it's connected. Even the job, even his family, if he's raising his family in Krishna consciousness. But yeah, this is something that Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we have to also become free to preach. Like the donkey has so much, Prabhupada gives the example of donkey, he has so much burden on his back. And he thinks if I don't carry all this burden on my back, I will starve. So similarly, sometimes we think like that. If I don't do all these things, the normal way of life, how people are doing, then I will starve. And I will not have anything. But Krishna takes care of those who serve him. Ananyas chintayantu mam ye jana paripasati. Okay, so Maharaj passing away is very glorious. He passed away in Vrindavan. And it is said this is Sant Tukaram's something today. Sant Tukaram's beach. And so auspicious day in Vrindavan. The holy name was being chanted. He left his world. Tukaram Maharaj. Tukaram beach. It's a disappearance day of Sant Tukaram. So, anyway, but for devotee it's all auspicious wherever he lives. It's a consciousness. So we can pray that when we leave also we have devotees chanting and we are in good consciousness. We are thinking of Krishna. Like that. Anything else you'd like to say? Prabhupada said one nice thing I was reading. See, devotee means he always thinks of Krishna. So let's see. When he chants Hare Krishna, he remembers Krishna's pastimes. That's what both Hare and Krishna. Of course, we may not be able to remember always like that. But, in one purport, Prabhupada writes, I read it on. No, we can't find it. So, what would you like to say? What should we read, Bhagavatam or something else?
Yes, sir, we can read.
We can read Bhagavatam.
Yes.
Well, we can hear some lecture, but anyway. So this is fight between Hiranyaksha and Varahadev has defeated Hiranyaksha. And what happened? Diti. It is said blood was flowing from her breast. And she recalled the words of Kashyap. So, okay, we'll read some verses. Though struck indifferently by the Lord, the conqueror of all, the demon's body began to wheel. I think we read. His eyeballs bulged out, sockets. Then Brahma came, and he was glowing. Although he had died, his face was glowing, and Prabhupada says because he was touched by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why his luster did not fade. And he got kicked by the Lord, whose lotus feet even the yogis are aspiring. So that's what it says. Then these two personal assistants of the Supreme Lord, having been cursed, have been destined to take birth in demoniac families. After a few such births, they will return to their own positions. So ultimately, everybody will go back home, back to Godhead. And it's only a matter of time. But the thing is that the material world will always be there, right? It will never be empty. Because new souls will come. It's a really... Sometimes you think about it that if material world will always be full of jivas, then Krishna's desire will never be fulfilled. To have all the jivas with him in the spiritual world. Is that something? Means Krishna will always have some anxiety for the jivas? And how it will happen? What you
You're
say?
saying the material world will always be full of living entities?
Yeah, like some jivas will go back and the new jivas will come. Like Vasudev Dutt, he told Mahaprabhu that give me all the sins of everyone and deliver them. And Mahaprabhu said, yeah, this is one universe. And then something like that he said. So sometimes if we think about it, then does it mean that Krishna's desire to have all the jivas, because Krishna wants all the jivas in the spiritual sky, will it never be fulfilled? Krishna's desire so to have all the jivas back with him, will that desire never be fulfilled? I'm just thinking if somebody asks you like that, what do you say? Is it true?
I can't say.
Because Krishna wants all the jivas to not come to the material world, right? And so, anyway,
It's
so
the free will of the jivas.
correct. But Krishna desires that we should go back to him, right? He's, so does it mean that because material world will always be there, and there will be always jivas in the material world? Like they say that, what is the analogy? That there will never be a time.
Prison will always be filled with prisoners.
Prison will never be empty. in Ohio we have prison, right? But was there any time when there was nobody in the prison? You can hardly find, since the prison was created, probably there was no time when there was nobody in the prison. Always there were people in the prison. I mean, some people went out and some new people came in. So it was never empty. Correct, Amit also? Like to say anything, I don't know if he's hearing.
Yes, Prabhuji. Because it is not dependent on Lord. The free will is in people's hand.
Right. But there'll be always, that means there'll be always jivas who will be misusing their free will.
Yes. Also, without free will, a relationship is not possible.
No, that all we understand, but there'll be jivas who will always misuse their free will. So, but eventually they will go back to Godhead and some new jivas will come. So the Lord will always have to do his lila in the material world. Maybe that's why the Lord has made it like that. Because the Lord will come and keep doing his lila in the material world. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. And his pastimes will go on. Okay.
But when we say new jivas, what does that mean? Because, I mean, jivas are not created new, right? We all were created at one point.
Right. We were always there.
Or we were all eternally existing. Either we are in the material world or in the spiritual world. And if you go back to the spiritual world, you don't fall again.
Correct. But those who have not come to the material world, they may fall, right?
Yeah, if they've not come to the material world, where are they right now?
That's the question. Some people say they're in Brahmajyoti, some people say they're in the spiritual world. Like Prabhupada said in one letter, formerly we were with Krishna in his loving pastime, sport, and then we. That's the whole question of how Jiva fell, from where it fell. So,
Maybe some are dominant in Mahavishnu.
sorry, Mahavishnu. Yes. Okay, not to think too much.
So, Prabhuji, one question always occurs to me. What is lacking in the spiritual world that they want to, jivas want to exercise their individual will to have their own lordship?
Hmm. I don't know. It's nothing is lacking. It's just envy, ichha, dvesha, samudena. I mean, it's your, as you were saying, there for relationship to exist, there has to be.
But envy is like in a not in a perverted way in the spiritual world, right? So,
No, as soon as you have envy, then you come to the material. Then you're not in spiritual world anymore.
so whatever emotions we have here, they are perverted reflection of the emotions from the spiritual world.
Correct.
So even the envy which would be existing would not be in any wrong way.
Yeah, there is envy there, but that envy gives pleasure to Krishna. Like we have Chandravali's camp and Radharani. It seems like she's envious when Krishna is with some other. We were hearing in Vrindavan, right? So the class.
Right. Radharani goes in man,
Ma.
and Krishna goes to some other gopi. Yeah. So there is transcendental envy or jealousy.
But that man of Radharani gives pleasure to Krishna. So although Krishna is feeling sad, but so everything Radharani does is to give pleasure to Krishna, correct?
Right.
So her rejecting Krishna is also giving pleasure to Krishna. So it's in pure form, that's why. Okay. The demigods address the Lord, all obeisances to you. You are the enjoyer of all sacrifices, and you have assumed the form of a boar in pure goodness for the purpose of maintaining the world. Fortunately for us, this demon, who was a torment to the worlds, has been slain by you. And we too, O Lord, are now at ease in devotion to your lotus feet. Demigods are very happy because the Hiranyaksha tormented them. The material world consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance, but the spiritual world is pure goodness. It is said here that the form of Lord is pure goodness, which means that it is not material. That's called Shuddha Sattva. In the material world, there is no pure goodness. In Bhagavatam, the stage of pure goodness is called Sattvam Vishuddham. Vishuddham means pure. In pure goodness, there is no contamination by the two inferior qualities, namely passion and ignorance. That means if you're not in pure goodness, in goodness there is contamination by passion and ignorance. The form of the boar, therefore, in which the Lord appeared, is nothing of the material world. There are many other forms of the Lord, but none of them belong to the material qualities. Such forms are non-different from Vishnu form, and Vishnu is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. The sacrifices which are recommended in the Vedas are meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In ignorance only, people try to satisfy many other agents. So everything is meant to please Supreme. So not, if you don't please Krishna, then we have to use, so Prabhupada is saying, in ignorance only people try to satisfy many other agents. Besides the demigods and other things, they try to satisfy many other. But the real purpose of life is to satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu. All sacrifices are meant to please the Supreme Lord. The living entities who know this perfectly well are called demigods, godly or almost God. Since the living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, it is his duty to serve the Lord and please him. So it is not that, we are like, the Lord also wants to please his devotees. So it's a loving relationship. And Prabhupada writes one statement. He says, this most congenial form of intimacy between the Lord and his devotees. The relationship of servant and served is the most congenial form of intimacy. In Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma, purport he says, each and every living entity has its eternal form in the spiritual existence, and Krishna is the eternal attraction for all of them. So sometimes we may think, only Krishna, there is no variety in the spiritual world. Yeah, but it's not only with Krishna, with other devotees, and its relationships are there with everybody. Krishna is the complete whole and everything else is part and parcel. The relation is one of servant and the served. It is transcendental and is completely distinct from our experience in material existence. So in material existence, the served enjoys and the servant is suffering. Servant is exploited and the served is enjoying at the expense of the servant. But Prabhupada says it is not like that in the spiritual world. This relation of servant and served is the most congenial form of intimacy. It's a very intimate, loving exchange. One can realize it as devotional service progresses. So Krishna is also serving the devotee. Like Krishna is providing us so many different nice, he has given us so many nice things in, like, we have intelligence to work, and we have some food to eat, we have some clothing, we have shelter. Krishna is taking care of us in so many ways. He has provided us the scriptures, association of pure devotees, and like that. So Krishna is taking care of us. We only need to accept that. Sometimes we take it for granted, but we should think that, this is coming because Krishna has given me some money, some place to live, some nice situation to practice bhakti. So that's how Krishna is also serving. He looks also after the comforts of his devotee. Prabhupada says like that. Krishna looks after the comfort of his devotee. So the living entities who know this perfectly well are called demigods, godly or almost God. Since the living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, it is its duty to serve the Lord and please him. And Krishna promises that I will provide for you. If you serve me, I will give you everything. The demigods are all attached to the personality of God, and for their pleasure, the demon, who was a source of trouble to the world, was killed. Purified life is meant to please the Lord, and all sacrifices performed in purified life are called Krishna consciousness. This Krishna consciousness is developed by devotional service, as clearly mentioned here. Okay, any comments? It's the same theme, all the purports. We are part of Krishna and Krishna is the whole, and the part's interest is in serving the whole. When the whole is served, the part also becomes nourished. That also Prabhupada said here. Since the living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, it is his duty to serve the Lord and please him. So part cannot act independently. For the part to be nourished, that it has to serve the whole. So that's what is the example Prabhupada has given of part and the whole.
Trees and root, and like if you're pouring the water to the root, all the branches and twigs and get satisfied. And another example I gave that if we supply food to stomach, all your organs will get satisfied and get energized.
So we have to personally experience that devotional service gives satisfaction. So we have to personally experience Yayatma Suprasidati. Suprasidati means satisfaction. And then when you experience it yourself, then that's it. You feel like satisfied in bhakti. You don't need anybody's certificate. So that's how actually it should be. That you don't need validation from anybody because you feel that satisfaction. Just as after eating a meal, you are satisfied. So you feel that satisfaction. If you are doing devotional service, like it is said, unconditionally, uninterruptedly, then it will result in satisfaction of the soul. Pure devotional service. But we say satisfaction, satiation, and all that. Okay. What is that satiation and satisfaction? There is, but
Yeah, in bhakti there is no satiation, but there is satisfaction. And in material enjoyment, there is no satisfaction, but there is satiation.
yeah, satiation means you think, now I don't want any more, I'm done. So in material life, you don't have any satiation, you have no satisfaction, but there is satiation. Means you are feeling that how much you can enjoy, then there is a satiation, but it doesn't result in satisfaction. That's why you keep hankering for more because there's no satisfaction. So it keeps going and going. But in spiritual life, there is satisfaction, but no satiation. Right? What is it? There is satisfaction, but no satiation because you want to do more and more. Is that how it is?
Yeah. I mean, there is no limit. Like chanting, we can keep on chanting, but we'll not feel bored, or we'll not hit a peak of, but in material enjoyment, if you want to eat something nice, there is a limit to that. You can only eat so much.
Okay. Next verse. Sri Maitreya continued, after thus killing the most formidable demon Hiranyaksha, the Supreme Lord Hari, the origin of the boar species, returned to his own abode where there is always an uninterrupted festival. In spiritual world, there is uninterrupted festival. The Lord was praised by all the demigods, headed by Brahma. And nobody gets tired in the festival because why? Nobody gets tired?
Because they're feeling joy.
And also, I think they don't have a material body. They are not made of the Panchbhutas.
Correct.
That transcendent.
Yeah, material body feels tired. Like
Right.
at the end of the day of Janmashtami, right? When you have to do, like in our temple Janmashtami, then at the end of the day, then you have to pick up all the trash and everything, and then you feel like, oh no, now I cannot do anymore. It's 2 o'clock. I cannot do anymore. I'm tired. So many devotees do. But and next day you have to sleep. Prabhupada's appearance day, you want to go to Mangala Arati, but you slept at 2 o'clock. You can't get up. So yeah, and the joy is also so much in the spiritual world that
That's why I mean the pure devotees, they don't feel tired, as you were saying, that they don't feel like sleeping. Because I guess they are in that mode, even by living in the material world. They are in the Siddha Swarupa.
yeah.
And Krishna doesn't make them tired.
Yeah.
There is a verse like that, it's ever fresh.
Navayoganam. No, not that. Some other. He keeps everything very fresh. Right?
Yeah, I'm pasting that verse. Always engaging in the activities of devotional service, devotees feel ever increasingly fresh and new in their activities. The all-know or the super-soul within the heart of the devotee makes everything increasingly fresh. This is known as Brahman position by the advocates of absolute truth. In such a liberated stage, Brahma Bhuta, one is never bewildered, nor does one lament and become unnecessarily jubilant. This is due to Brahma Bhuta situation.
Brahma Bhuta, like, yeah, this is the definition of Brahma Bhuta situation. Like, okay, I can only talk about it, but those who actually experience that, they can actually relate how. Okay, so Lord went after killing Varahadev, he went back to his own abode, where there is an uninterrupted festival, and everybody was praising the Lord. The Lord is spoken of herewith as the origin of the boar species, as stated in Vedanta Sutra 112. What is 112? The absolute truth is the origin of everything.
That's the first verse of Bhagavatam. There's Janmadhyasya.
Janmadi asya yataha. Yeah, correct. That's 112. So absolute truth. Therefore, it is to be understood that all 8,400,000 species of bodily forms originate from the Lord, who is always Adi, or the beginning. So the soul comes from the Lord, and the Panchabhuta also comes from the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna addresses the Lord as Adyam, or the original. Similarly, in Brahma Samhita, the Lord is addressed as Adi Purusham, the original person. Indeed, in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, the Lord declares, Mata Sarvam Pravartate, from me everything proceeds. So, everything has come from something, not from nothing. So, that something is Krishna. The origin of everything is Krishna. And he has no other, he has not come from anything. So, he is Anadi. In this situation, the Lord assumed the shape of a boar to kill the demon Hiranyaksha and pick up the earth from Garbha ocean. Thus, he became Adi Shukar, the original boar. In the material world, a boar or pig is considered most abominable because it lives in a filthy place and like that. But the Adi Shukara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was not treated as an ordinary boar. Even Lord Brahma and other demigods praised the Lord's form as a boar. This verse confirms the statement in Bhagavad Gita that the Lord appears as He is from His transcendental abode for the sake of killing the miscreants and saving the devotees. That's Paritranaya Sadhuna. By killing the demon Hiranyaksha, he fulfilled his promise to kill the demons and always protect the demigods headed by Brahma. So Krishna protects. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. But protection is also of what? Not necessarily of the
Body, but of the, consciousness. And bhakti is, protection of consciousness.
Yeah. And sometimes Krishna, yeah, if our consciousness is not right, like Indra's consciousness was not right, so he uh, he made it right by lifting Govardhan hill. So by killing the demon Hiranyaksha, he fulfilled his promise to kill the demons and always protect the demigods headed by Brahma. The statement that the Lord returned to his own abode indicates that he has his own particular transcendental residence. भगवान का भी घर है, खुद का घर है, जहाँ वो रहते हैं. So he has his own particular transcendental residence. Of course, the whole world belongs to Krishna. So it's all coming from him. He's the owner. But still he has a specific residence. Since he's full of all energies, he's all pervasive in spite of his residing in Golok Vrindavan. Just as the sun, although situated in a particular place within the universe, is present by its sunshine throughout the universe. So in the ninth chapter, it says, Krishna says, right, Maya tatamidam sarvam, Maya tatamidam sarvam,
Jagadavyaktam.
Jagadavyakta murtina. In my unmanifest form, I pervade everything. So Prabhupada gives the example. Although the Lord is his particular abode in which to reside, is all pervasive. The impersonalists accept one aspect of the Lord's features, the all pervasive aspect, but they cannot understand his localized situation in his transcendental abode. So God is everywhere, but he has also his local, his where he resides, where he always engages in fully transcendental pastimes. Especially mentioned in this verse is the word akhanditots. Akhanda means not broken. Akhanditotsavam. So utsavam, which is akhanda. Utsava means pleasure. Whenever some function takes place to express happiness, it is called utsav. Utsav, the expression of complete happiness, is always present in Vaikuntha Lokas, the abode of the Lord, who is worshipable even by demigods, like Brahma, to say nothing of other less important entities such as human beings. So every day, like in our calendar, Vaishnav calendar, also there are so many festivals, right? One after another. One devotee was saying, today is the appearance of this, today is disappearance of this. Disappearance is also festival. Today is this appearance of Krishna, Radharani, now Balram, now disappearance of Srila Prabhupada, appearance of Srila Prabhupada, then appearance of Narottam Das Thakur, this, that, so many acharyas. And so in spiritual world, every day there is something going on. The Lord descends from his abode to this world, and therefore is called avatar, which means one who descends. Sometimes avatar is understood to refer to an incarnation who assumes a material form of flesh and bone, but actually avatar refers to one who descends from higher regions. So he just comes down in his original spiritual form. As Krishna says, Sambhavami Atma Maya, Ajopi san Atma, Bhutanam Ishwaropi san, Prakritim Swamadhisthaya, Sambhavami Atma Maya. He says, by my own potency I come. So he does not accept a material body, as some people think. Avatar means one who comes in the form of flesh and bone. The Lord's abode is situated far above this material sky, and he descends from that higher position. Thus he is called avatar. But there is avatar and there is, what is the other word?
Avtari.
Tari.
Avatari. So what is the difference? Avatari and
Avatar is the incarnation. Avatari is a source of incarnation. So Krishna is Avatari.
And Varahadev is avatar, you can say. Yeah.
Prabhu, Barahadev.
Yeah, we are talking about Varahadev here in fighting. So he's an avatar.
Barahadev is avatar of Vishnu and Vishnu is avatar, isn't it?
Yeah, Krishna is avatari and Varahadev is avatari. Avatari means source. So anyway, it's like just some words. But the original source of all incarnations. Okay. Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, I have explained to you the personality of God is coming down as the firstborn incarnation and killing in a great fight a demon of unprecedented prowess, as if he were just a plaything. This has been narrated by me as I heard it from my predecessor spiritual master. So Maitreya is repeating what he has heard in the Parampara. So here the sage Maitreya admits that he explained the incident of killing of Hiranyaksha by the Supreme Personality of God as a straight narration. He did not manufacture anything or add interpretation, but explained whatever he had heard from his spiritual master. Thus he accepted as bona fides the system of Parampara. or receiving transcendental message in disciplic succession. Unless received by the bona fide process of hearing from spiritual master, the statement of an acharya or preceptor cannot be valid. It is also stated here that although the demon Hiranyaksha was unlimited in prowess, he was just like a doll for the Lord. A child breaks so many dolls without real endeavor. Similarly, although demon may be very powerful and extraordinary in the eyes of an ordinary man in the material world, to the Lord, killing such a demon is no difficulty. Like we say, Tava kamala vare nakham adbhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubhringam. So, Tava kamala vare adbhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubhringam. Bringam is an insect or a wasp. So, the wasp-like body of Hiranyakashipu has been ripped apart by the nails, wonderful nails on the lotus-like hands of Lord Nrsimhadev. So he was very powerful, but the Lord just killed him. He can kill millions of demons as simply as a child plays with doll and breaks them. And then after Hiranyakashipu died, then the soldiers were attacking, and then with his nail tips, he was like crushing them. Nrsimhadev was killing them with the fingernails, So, just killing them. Okay. Sri Suta Goswami continued. My dear Brahmana, we'll read one more. Shatta Vidura, the great devotee of the Lord, achieved transcendental bliss by hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the authoritative source of the sage Kaushyarava, and he was very pleased. So Vidura became very happy hearing about the Lord's pastime from Maitreya. If anyone wants to derive transcendental pleasure by hearing the pastimes of the Lord, he must hear from authoritative source, as explained here. Maitreya heard the narration from his bona fide spiritual master, and Vidura also heard from Maitreya. One becomes an authority simply by presenting whatever he has heard from his spiritual master. And one who does not accept a bona fide spiritual master cannot be an authority. This is clearly explained here. If one wants to have transcendental pleasure, he must find a person with authority. It is also stated in the Bhagavatam that simply by hearing from an authoritative source with the ear and the heart, one can relish the pastimes of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible. And the more the devotee is advanced and pure-hearted, the more it impacts our heart also. Sanatana Goswami therefore has especially warned that one should not hear anything about the personality of the Lord from the lips of a non-devotee. What is that verse? One should not hear the word.
Vaishnava Mukhadhyam Putam Harikathamrit Satpachishta
Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam.
Satpachishta Yatapaha.
Non-devotees are considered to be like serpents. We may think, we don't have love for the non-devotees. No, it's not like that. Prabhupada, when he says like that, it doesn't mean he hates the non-devotees, but the non-devotees are like serpents means they don't understand the Lord, and that's why they give their own interpretation about the Lord's pastimes and about the Lord, his Nirakar or whatever they say. So they give some interpretation of their own. And maybe at heart they do not accept Krishna's supremacy. Also, like there are many Kirtaniyas who are very famous. One Kirtaniya is very famous, but he doesn't accept Krishna as the personality of Godhead. So like that, there are non-devotees. So they are.
But the holy name is pure, right? Maybe this verse referring to some interpretation of philosophical concept that can be told in a very deviated way by non-devotees. But if non-devotee is saying Hare Krishna, why wouldn't have a purifying effect on, because the holy name itself is pure.
Yeah, that is also there. Yeah, but Prabhupada says in his famous, as far as possible, the chanting should be heard from the lips of a pure devotee, just as milk touched by the lips of a serpent causes. So
Yeah,
maybe the person is
but I
getting
mean to
purified.
be a. Sorry, go ahead, Prabhu.
No, no, you say what? Go
I
ahead.
mean, pure devotee is rare, right?
Correct.
So we are in process of becoming a pure devotee, and we are trying to chant loudly and trying to benefit others, telling others about.
But at
So
least
would the
but at least the devotee, even mixed devotee, they accept Krishna as. But there are some who are not accepting Krishna's supremacy like that. At least we may have material desires, but we are accepting to some level that Krishna is God. But there are some others who don't even accept that. Maybe that Mayavadis, for instance, they also say we should worship, but in their heart they don't feel that Krishna is a person. So we say Mayavad Bhashya Shunilo. Sometimes,
yeah,
yeah. So maybe it's that kind of thing. But yeah, some
yeah,
of
yeah. But I was talking specifically about those who are chanting Hare Krishna, but they may not be fully following the principles. How
they
would
will.
then, like Kirtaniyas, as you were saying?
Yeah, yeah. No, there is one famous Kirtaniya. He said like, I don't believe Krishna exists. So, but he's very
Mm.
not in
But
ISKCON.
he's chanting Hare Krishna.
Yeah, but is outside ISKCON. It's not like he's part of something.
Means their chanting, etc. They would not convert anyone into a devotee because, I mean, preaching is done through showing your example also, right? Not just what you're saying or what you're talking.
Hmm.
So if you're not following the principles properly, then probably people will see that and they will not have any faith in whatever you say or whatever you do.
Yeah,
What is his name, Prabhuji? Who
I don't
said
know. I don't
he
want to
doesn't
say.
believe
I heard
in
somebody
Krishna?
was saying that. Uh, I don't want to say the name right. Let me find out if he actually says that. Some devotee was telling me that he's very famous Kirtaniya, but I'll find out something and I will.
Sudas Prabhuji.
Surdas, no, Surdas.
Yes, yeah, he's a Christian and he sings all Krishna songs.
Surdas.
Yesu, Yesudas.
Oh,
I don't know, but I just heard that.
It is not that blind, famous Vaishnav Surdas. A
no.
blind Surdas was totally with Krishna always.
No, not Surdas Mataji. It is, he's in present, I mean now, he's a great singer. So,
Okay, yeah. So
I think there is Krishna Das also.
you can see what his beliefs are. What does he?
Yeah, he's not part of ISKCON, right?
Correct. But these kirtans are very famous.
Yeah, he has so many CDs and yeah, he sings Hare Krishna.
Anyway, so maybe he's getting purified. I don't know. Krishna only knows everything. But we say, right? Sanketyam parihasyam vastobanam. Somehow or other, if you chant. But okay. So that's what Sanatan Goswami is saying that
So
non-devotee.
I was saying, bro, that you said, so such people are called as a godless people, right? If they don't believe that Krishna is existing or not.
Yeah, I mean they are doing for. I mean, like
Sense gratification for his own
for
benefit.
maybe isn't for getting money or whatever it may be. I don't know. There is Prabhupada says there are professional Bhagavata reciters also. They are also talking about Krishna. Sometimes they talk very nicely also. You feel like they are describing the pastime very nicely, and people cry also. but I don't know. Anyway, we can hear, we can take the good part on this.
Yeah. Just, I mean, there are many sadhus also in India. You can find it. They know they are well versed even in verses and all, but they don't know the aim. I mean, by reading all the Vedas and knowledge is to understand Krishna. So in Ishopanishad also it says that a cobra decorated with valuable gems is more dangerous than who are than not decorated. So it's like that. And those who are well versed and feels like a scholar, but if he doesn't know the real purpose to understand Lord Krishna, so it's all no use. So I was just relating that one. But okay, you go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the form of Kripalu Maharaj. So he's an incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I don't know all these things.
So we should ask where in the scriptures it's mentioned, right?
Correct. So yeah, where is mentioned like that? But they are also, he's very learned personality. He has this Prem Mandir we saw. But I don't know if, yeah, so many things going on like that. Okay. Anyway, we have to worry about our bhakti and those, I mean, others can do whatever they have to. So non-devotees are considered to be like serpents, as milk is poisoned by a serpent's touch. So although narration of pastimes of the Lord is as pure as milk, when administered by serpent-like non-devotees, it becomes poisonous. Not only does it have no effect in transcendental pleasure, but it is dangerous also. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned that no description of the pastimes of the Lord should be heard from the Mayavad or impersonalist school. He has clearly said, Mayavadi Bhashya Shunila Sarvanash. If anyone hears the Mayavadi's interpretations of the pastimes of the Lord or their interpretation of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or any other Vedic literature, then he is doomed. Once one is associated with the impersonalist, he can never understand the personal feature of the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. Sutta Goswami was speaking to the sages headed by Shaunak, and therefore he addressed this verse as Dvija, twice born. The sages assembled in Naimisharanya, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami, were all Brahmanas, but to acquire the qualifications of Brahmana is not everything. Merely to be twice born is not perfection. Perfection is attained when one hears the pastimes and activities of the Lord from a bona fide source. Okay. So we can stop here with this.